Davy Neeson from Belfast. Grew up on the New Lords Road, in Belfast. And Belfast. So that's it.
Tell me about your parents.
My mother and father left me behind, and with my auntie in 1950, and it was my auntie raised me in that there, and then I went away to sea when I was 15 years old, and had a great life at sea, boxing and having bands and all at sea, and jumped ship in New York in 1971, like that. And started working all sorts of jobs, and then I started to help people back here, and run a newspaper called the Irish People. Me and my friend run a newspaper called the Irish People. We tried to get something done about stopping the war over here, so we went and we lobbied. We went to Congress, lobbied, and tried to get President Clinton to give both sides, to come into the Washington to talk with Gerry Adams, Mark McManus, and Davy Irvin on the other side, and Gusty Spence and that there, And next thing we got it done, and they let them in 48-hour visas, and the war was over after that there, so that, But you asked me another question.
What do you remember about growing up in Belfast? What do you remember?
Just not too much. It was a great place to grow up in, and I was always in a boxing club. It was a boxing club called the Holy Family Boxing Club. Used to fight in the Down in Connors and the All Irelands and all that there, used to fight there, and it was mostly country boys fighting us guys up in the city and that there, But it was great times. People were great people back then and that there. Everybody looked out for one another and that there,
What was going on in Belfast at the time? Was that the Troubles?
No, it was before the Troubles and that there. The Troubles didn't start in 1969 and that there. Then I was gone that time anyway and that there. I was away. I was on the boats in that time. And then when I came home, the Troubles was already started. And I couldn't believe what I was seeing, tanks everywhere and soldiers everywhere and that there, and
tell me about living with your aunt. What do you remember?
Great person. She's had 5 sons of her own and her daughter, and they're great people, like, and that there, and it was a struggle for, like, and that to bring me up too, and that there. Then I was put out for adoption again and brought back, because I thought she was my mother and I was trying to get back to her again. So eventually took me back again and that there, and then I had you have to go and make your own way. So as I say, I went to sea at 15 and made my own way, and eventually ended up living in America, like in that there,
And what about your parents? Did you meet them again?
Met them one more time. I met them in 1966 in Birmingham and that there. That wasn't a very pleasant meeting in that there, because when you're born out of wedlock like that there, they don't want the other kids to know about it and that there, And my mother's, I was called after my mother, who was Neeson. My father was actually Lachlan and that there, So you had to be called when you're born out of wedlock like that. You have to be called after your mother, like in that there, But I did only met them for about a couple of weeks, and that there was right back into Belfast again, and that there, So that was it. And then, as I say, just went away, went back to sea again, and that there. And then, as I say, eventually jumped ship in New York, and that there, and had a great life in New York, a great time to this day. We'll be come back again. I think it's the greatest country in the world, and that there, and all the people that I've met, Willie Nelson, John Lennon, you name it, I've met them, and that there, So it's great.
What was it like on the ship? Remember when you went to sea first of all?
It was great. You're getting a bit of a hard time when you're a young lad, like, and that there, as naturally as anything. As you go to university and all that, you get a hard time as a young lad. But then you become a man, and you get used to it, and then they get in with the crowd and that there. Once you get into boxing and playing bands and all that there, as I say, a box in front of Elizabeth Taylor, Richard Burke, Groucho Marx, a box in front of her. Great life.
What sort of work were you doing on the ship?
I done 2 different jobs. I first started off in the catering department and that there, and that would be, when I went to sea at 15, it was like washing dishes and that there, But then I was an assistant baker, but I ended up as a deckhand and that there, tying ships up and that there, and steering and all that there. I started doing work like that and stuff, and painting and stuff, and letting the passengers off and all that stuff like that there. But that's what he ended up doing in the end, was as a deckhand and that there, So
where did you go to? What sort of places were you?
I went everywhere. I went we left Belfast, like what you call a ship called the Southern Cross, and then we'd stop at Spain and bunker up, and then go on out to South Africa. Go around South Africa, go to Australia, and then over from Australia to go on to New Zealand and that there, you know, and that right across and that there. I've been everywhere, you name it, I've been there, like, and that there. I haven't been.
What's your favourite place?
Favourite place in the whole world is America, and still is, and Australia would have been second to that there, you know, Australia would have been second. I loved Australia, like, and I love the Australian people, like, and that, you know, but, you know, but good country, you know, but I fancy settled in the country I wanted to be in, that there, you know, and I want to die there, that there, you know.
And were you playing in the band at the band?
I was a singer in the band, that there, you know. There's a couple of fellas come in here that you probably have met one day. They were the band leaders, you know. They were well, a guy called Joe McMullen from Ardown. He's a great. He could play Jimi Hendrix, anything. I'd love you to meet him one day. He can play anything in it. But I had a thing what you call a didgeridoo, you know, and that there. And I used to play that and that there. And it was all just to entertain the passengers, really, like, and that there. I was entertaining the passengers and that there, make them laugh and that there, other stuff. But we were a good band. People say we had talent and all that there, you know. So that was it, you know. Loved it, but I loved every minute of it, and that there, from the start to the finish, and that there. And I loved the sea, and you know. But I loved America more, and I'm stuck in America, and that there, you know.
And how come you ended up jumping ship in New York?
Because that was the port of call. I was going down there from New York to Bermuda on the Bermuda run, and then one day I said I wanted to live there, and I just walked off, you know, and that there. Just got my clothes and walked off, and that there. And a few years down the road, I married well, she's a Galway American girl, like, and that there. I married her, and that there. And,
what's her name?
Marion Reynolds, her name was, not there. So I married her, and she's from a place called Salt Hill in Galway, and that there.
Yeah.
And then I got legally there. I lived illegally for 13 years, and that there. And then I got legally there, and then to this day, nearly 2 more years, it'll be 50 years now in America, and that there. You know, that there, you know. So.
What sort of jobs were you doing in the beginning?
I was doing like moving furniture and working behind bars and you name it, I done it. No, washing plates, washing pots and pans. I done it just to make a living, like, and that, you know, don't done anything just to get by, like, and that.
You're still doing the boxing at that stage?
No, I was out of the boxing. I just done the boxing on the ships and that there, you know, and that there. I wouldn't have been good enough to be like Paddy there or anything like that. I wouldn't have been good enough for that. But I enjoyed it. I never really lost any fights on the boats now because I already boxed here with the Holy Family. And you were going up against guys who never boxed before in their lives and that there, you know.
Yeah.
You know, so it was that there, you know. So, you know,
And then tell me about the Irish people you're involved with that.
The Irish people was just a paper. It was just a paper that I told you was going on in Northern Ireland and that there. I never went outside the boundaries of Northern Ireland to see the troubles that was going on here, you know, and you'd run benefits to bring kids out and all that there, you know. So that was just what that is, you know, just telling you actually was just happening in Northern Ireland and that. If we were going to have, you tell people to protest, you know, against the war and all, and get Clinton involved in that there to get the troops out of here and that there, you know. Which eventually worked, you know, as I say, we got animals and all in that there, you know.
And tell me about the Project Children.
Well, a guy, funny enough, was a guy who was on the bomb squad in America and that there. Well, he started all that off, but we were doing that before him. But he, I forget his name, I'm Malachi. So, but he started all that off, you know, and that there. But we'd just bring kids out, me and my wife on their own. That there, I had a thing called Sailing Too Long, where you brought Protestants and Catholics out and that there, and you just sit and talk because they lost their families, like, and that there, you know. So that was it, you know. So, but we're just glad we got the war stopped. That was a good thing, like, and that there, you know. But as I say again, it was President Clinton who stopped the war, like, and that there. Wasn't for him, it would be still going on in that there, you know.
Do you remember McManus and Jerry Adam?
I know Martin, Jerry very well, not there, you know, but very good people, very clever people, very smart, you know, very intelligent people, like, and that there, you know. And fair play to them, they stopped it, you know, what they were doing, stopped the war and that there. To me, like, McManus, like a statesman, like, and that there, you know, what he done, you know, and that there, you know. But fair play to him and that there, you know. And I went to his funeral, you know, it was about a couple of thousand people at his funeral, like, and that, you know. It's unbelievable, his funeral, and that there, you know. So, great, I was glad I was a part of it, and that there, getting it stopped, and that there, you know. I'm glad I was a part of it. And then, as I said, you want to go in about Willie and that. But that's about it in that subject, anyway, and that there, you know.
And then tell me about your love of music.
Well, my love's always been music my whole life. Like, I'd be grew up like listening to Lanny Donegan and that there, you know. But now, I was never into the Beatles big. I was more into Lennon himself and that there. I thought he wrote more gritty songs like in that there, you know. And you know, Imagine to me was one of the greatest songs like ever written in that there, you know. And I love him doing in my life like in that there. I love him doing in my life in that there, you know. And then I thought one of the greatest song writers of the 20th century was Bob Dylan, like in that there. And I grew up listening to him. My mother would be shouting into the room and all, what are you listening to? That guy can't sing, like in that there, you know. But you're listening to the lyrics and that there, you're listening to the lyrics. And lo and behold, I got to meet every one of my heroes like that. I got to meet Lennon, I got to meet Dylan, and Willie Nelson introduced me to Dylan, like in that there.
Tell me about the day you met Lennon.
As I say, it was just it was 1976 and all the ships were coming in from all over the world and that there. And I lived at the top of this hill and I was running down with a camera to take pictures of the ships. And Lennon just came walking along and he had Sean in his belly, as you'll see the picture and that there. And Yoko. I just asked him, could I take a picture of him? And he said, no bother at all. And where are you from? I said, I was from Belfast. He played in the King's Hall in Belfast and that there with the Beatles, not by himself and that there, you know. So he run and then he, the nicest man I've ever met in my life, and as I said, didn't want to keep him. I took a picture of him, but I just couldn't believe, looking off to my right hand side, John Lennon was walking down the street, you know, walking down the pathway and that there, talking, and I'll never forget it. I'll show you'll see the picture, like in that there, you know. And Willie Nelson, when I asked about Willie, like, Willie Nelson's another great human being. Helps everybody, homeless, charities, farmers. Farmers were getting through off their land in America, and Willie does concerts every year to help the farmers, you know, and that there. And he raises between 10 and 20 million a year in that there, you know. And he met with all the peace people, you know, we brought them backstage and all that there. He met them in Dublin. He wanted to actually meet them over there in the States, but it was like Jerry Adams and all that were meeting President Clinton at the time and all that there, you know, so they didn't have the time to do it and that there. But one of the most, to me, like southern country and western people are the most genuine because they know when they came from poverty, like in that there, and they know what it is to be hungry, like in that there. And to me, like Willie Nelson told me, he wrote 3 songs, like on a taxi going over to, you know, over to playing a concert, like in that there, you know. That's a musical genius to me, like in that there, you know. And he still to this day got his old guitar trigger, like with a big hole in it, like in that there, you know. And but to me, out of all the people that I've met in my life, he stands with me like as the. He talked to you like he knew you your whole life, like in that there, you know. And a very lovable man, like in that there. And I met him. I have his phone number. He gave me his phone number the very first day I met him, and not too many superstars will do that, like in that there.
So what's your favourite memory of Willie Nelson, like?
Oh, it's just the favourite one. It's just how he talked to me right off the ball. I says, my name's Davy Neeson. I said I represent helping the peace process over there. He wanted to know all about it, like in that there. He wanted to know everything was going on about it in that there. And he never said Jerry Adams. He said, I'd like to meet that cat. He called Jerry Adams that cat. And I said, well, he'd like to meet you. And then he gave me the number right there and then. I couldn't believe he gave me his telephone number, like in that there. I was like over the moon, like in that there, because he was always one of my big heroes, like in that there, you know. So then Jerry was coming up on the bus, and we gave the number to his, called down to his lawyers, put Adams on the phone. I think Adams was thinking it was like a wind up or something in that there, but he doesn't realise. But he didn't have the time there, you know, and but they all came. He done the concert in Dublin. They all came backstage. Him and Martin McManus and all, and a wee girl called Rita O'Hare and that there. They all went backstage in Dublin and that there, you know, to do it and that there, you know. So eventually he ended up meeting them and that there, you know. Yeah. And hugs and squeezes all around. Everybody was lovely to meet each other because, excuse me, Adams was always a big fan of Willie himself, like in that there. Adams loves country music, like in that there, you know. So he's doing that there, you know. So, but I was always in a Springsteen, I live in Bruce Springsteen's town in Asbury Park. He's the same thing, man. A born great rock and roller. But a lot of people don't realize he opens homeless shelters, and he takes in stray animals, and you know, and he feeds the poor. For senior citizens, he buys buses and all that there, you know. But he doesn't talk about it, not there, you know. He just does it, not there, you know, and all that there, you know.
Sure.
So it's just but to be he's next to Elvis, he's the greatest rock and roll guy in this century, like in that there, you know, as Boat Race Spring, and a real lovely man. As I say, he comes into the cafe every morning, nobody bothers him because it's his, as he sings it, and he also sings a song called My Hometown, like in that there, and it is his hometown, and nobody bothers him, and he's time for everybody, like in that there, you know. But a vet told me a story one time. He brought a wee hamster in, you know, and the hamster died, and he was crying his eyes out like a child, like in that there, you know. He's good heart too, like in that there. But to me, he's one of the greatest rock and rollers of the 20th century, like in that there. And they give him the right name, the Boss, because he is the boss, like in that there, you know.
Tell me about Madison Square Garden.
The Madison Square Garden to me is the greatest place in the world to watch a concert, like in that there, you know. And I've been to every concert, like I've been to every venue in the world, like in that there, every concert place in the world. And it's just, you get like, I remember going there to see Neil Young one night, and that there, and you had all sorts of Wall Street guys there, and then you have the hippies and all that there, and everybody's swinging their coats. The Wall Street guys are singing from the hey, my, rock and roll is here to stay, and that there, you know. And you have all these hippies and then guys swinging their coats from the friggin', and it's just like, it's like you're in heaven, to me, like it's you're in heaven and that there, you know, and everybody's come together, like, and all cheering, all one and that there, you know, it's great, you know. Madison, to me, Madison Square Garden is the place. If you get a chance yourself, you should go there and that there, you know. Greatest place to watch a concert. Anything, I seen Eamon Coughlin in there trying to break the 4-minute mile and that there, you know. Guy for RCA Records, he gave us his box and that there, you know. And we were up there watching Eamon Coughlin, everything there you want, beer and thing and that there, or sandwiches, everything you want and that there. But to me, it's the greatest venue in the world. That there. It's like wee Paddy there that you just met there. He just fought in Madison Square Garden, and that's a venue either for a fighter, you know, or a rock and roller. That's where you want to end up in, you know. You know you've made it then, that there, you know. And but that's my opinion anyway. Like that there, you know. There's a lot of people's opinion.
Tell me about Father Patrick Maloney. Tell me that story.
Well, he's just like, he's a guy, as I say,
Say his name, Patrick.
Father Patrick Maloney and that there, you know, Patrick Maloney. He was a guy just took, no, like, he's to this day does it, you know, he took kids off the streets who are on drugs and that there, you know. And decided one day, him and another guy, that these other guys robbed the bank, and as I say, they're making a film about it now, and it's on the brinks and that there. But Pat Maloney was a good man, that there, you know. He just got involved in something probably, you know, that there, you know. That's about it for him, you know. But that's it, you know.
What about your sister?
Oh, Rose, Rose lost her son, you know, in 1981. He got murdered by the UDA and that there, you know. So she had to throw herself into something, you know, to get over it and that there. So my sister was an executive in a telephone company, you know, down in they call it Standard Telephone Company. It's down the Shore Road and that there, you know. So she was able to raise millions because she was an executive in there, and she was able to go across the world and raise millions for charity, like in that there, you know. So she threw herself into this, you know, getting raising money for cancer research, which eventually, like, there's a place in Cross McGlen called Rosie's Place, you know, and that's what it's named after our Rose, like in that there, you know. And she raised the money for that there, you know, to get that there. She raised millions, but the only reason she could do it was she was an executive, and that's the reason she done it, and that there. She could talk to big people, like in that there, you know, that there. You know. She's a great woman, and she died. This June she'll be dead 2 years, like in that there, you know. And she left a great legacy behind her, like in that there, you know. She left a great legacy, but it's that I was very proud, you know. She was knighted by the Queen and all that there. She was knighted by the Queen and that there, you know. And very proud of what she done that there, you know, that there. And the funny thing about it was she died with cancer herself, like in that there, you know. So that's, you know, God help her. But great memories over in that there. But you'll see her pictures later in that there, you know.
How would you describe your life overall? What kind of life have you
I would say, Brendan, I had a great life. You couldn't buy my life like in that there, you know, and I never expected it, because if I had it like when I found our house like in England and that there, it wasn't a very nice place to live in that there. A lot of people on drugs and that there, you know, very crappy, and everybody never worked. There was people there like never worked a day in their lives, or on the dole and all that. See, and I went home. All my what I call my brothers are really, you know, my cousins and that there, you know, but to this day I call them my brothers. They all went to sea, and I used to hear them talking about sea. So in 1965 there was a job on this ship, you know, a wee lad, they needed a wee lad to wash dishes and that there. And this man who lived in our street, he came up and he asked me would I want to do the job and that there. I said, are you kidding me? Right into the bag, and away I went. And the first place I went to was a place called Norfolk, Virginia, and when I got there, all the troops were going out to Vietnam and that there, you know, and they never heard like an Irish accent before that. And they're all, look at this little kid, you know, from Ireland and all that there. They were going and no rubbing the head and all that. But that's you know, that's our, you know, but I had a great life. Overall, looking at my life, you couldn't pay for my life. I had a great life. For all the people, I never in a million years would I have thought I met John Lennon, Willie Nelson, Bob Dylan, all these different people that I used to just dream about as a kid and that there, you know, and never like, if I never went to sea and never jumped ship. I think God lays your life out for you, like in that there, you know, and there's lots of strange things happening to me in my life, like a girl coming in here after 25 years that I was looking for, and a guy looking for a girl after 60 years found her, and a guy called me out of the crowd, and you know, in New Jersey one day, and he ended up, he was my cousin, like in that there. I mean, that just doesn't happen, like in that there. It must be laid out for you, man, that there. It must be laid out for you, that there. But overall, great life, man, no regrets, and I was to die tomorrow, had a great life, like in that there. And I think your life's about the people you meet and that there. It's not about material stuff and that. I was never into material stuff and that there. I love to help people, I love to help the animals or whatever. I was never in the material, and I could have had it one time. People say, had a Wall Street guy say to me one day, if you had went to college and that there, you know, if you had went to college, you'd have owned this town, like and that. But I didn't want stuff like that. I was a hippie. I've always been a hippie, like, and that's the hippie lifestyle. That's the way I want to be remembered, and that, or as a hippie, like, and that. A rock and roller. That's it. Davy the rock and roller. That's me. I love music day and that. That's it.
What was your nickname in the States?
Dave the Dude. I was always Dave the Dude. Over here it's Dave the Rave and that there. It was Dave the Dude in the States and that there, you know. But my old school teacher used to say, he said, you should have been a pipe cleaner, you're so skinny, like in that there, you know. But you had to have thick skin in them, that there, you know.
And what would you say, let's say some of your some kids are watching, what would you say to kids growing up today about what they should do with their life?
Well, for a start, don't take drugs, right, and that there. Do with their lives. I would say get out there. There's plenty of adventure out there in the world and that there. And I've found people don't want to do anything over here, you know, they just want to lie and don't do much. You got to see the world. The greatest experience you have in your life is meeting people across the world. Like, it's not even the countries, it's just meeting different people and seeing, just like, get off your ass, you know, and just put a knapsack on your back and get off and do things. You can't go to sea anymore like I went to sea. You can't do that anymore. In my day, you could have jumped on a ship and that there and just went on a ship. You can't do that anymore. But I would say it's so cheap to go to places like Spain and all that there, EasyJet and all that, 10 and 15 pound on a flight and that. Just your life's going to go by in the blink of an eye. Like, your life's going to go by in a shot. And I'd say get as much in as you can, like in that there, you know, and do good for people. Don't use people. Don't. You know, do good for people as much as you can, like in that there, you know, because you'll like it in the end, and that there, it's good for your soul, like in that there, you know, it's good for your soul, and that there.
What happens? What do you think happens when you die?
Well, I think there's a better place in this coming and that there, you know, and hopefully, like, there's a heaven, like, I believe there's somewhere after this here. Too many coincidences, you know, things happen to me, and I see people come to me in my sleep all the time, like in that there, in the death and that there, you know. good friends at there, good friends that committed suicide and that there, you know.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully when we die we'll get to heaven and we'll see them again, that there, our mothers and fathers and all that there, you know. But just do good for people down here. There's a book called The Spirit of a Butterfly by Muhammad Ali, and Muhammad Ali says in it, when you're good to people down here, it's the rent you pay to get into heaven and that there, you know, and that's the words I want to say. And I tell everybody to read the book. It's called The Spirit of a Butterfly, and it's nothing about boxing. It's just all about the spirit in the world and what you can do for people. Material crap in the end, they're big cars, and you're watching this internet and all the social media and all that there. That's all crap, that there, you know. Live your life and go out and have a good life and try and meet people. I was lucky that I had the chance to meet all the people that I met and that there. Hopefully you'll all do the same and that there, you know. That's it, right, brother? Right, that's it.
Thank you very much.
That's good. Well,